Hi, I'm Robin Battles, and welcome to another episode of I'm Just Saying. And I'm just saying, I'm sitting here with Susan, and we just sold your house.
It's insane.
It's insane.
No, actually, it's been a challenging process. Of course, I've been here 28 plus years, and my kids were raised here. Lots of memories here. And Robin, you've helped me so much. You've held my hand, made things simpler, made things clearer, took a huge weight. You have taken and are continuing to hold a huge weight off my shoulders.
It's my job.
Right,
it's my job.
right, yeah.
So I want to bring you back for just 1 second, and I want to walk people through your story, through your journey of deciding you had wanted, not had to, you were going to sell your house.
Yes.
So to make that decision, how long did it take you to make the decision that, all right, I'm going to sell this house?
Years. Honestly. Well,
Really?
I thought about it for years.
Okay.
And then it reached a point where I just one day something happened and my brain went snap.
Yeah.
And I went, that's it. It's time to sell. In fact, my brain went jump.
Okay.
Okay. And then I love my hair person, Laura, and she had told me years ago about what a great realtor she had. So I called her up and I said, who's that person you mentioned before? And she said, Robin Battles. And I said, okay, number and everything like that. And she said, I trust her totally. In fact, she said, I trust her with my life. Hearing that from Laura, whom I totally respect and love, just that took weight off. Just her confirming that I could put my financial future to a point. I mean, maybe that's not the way to put it, but I could put it in your hands. And I wouldn't have to double check you on everything or, read every single word of every piece of paper. Right. So that's kind of how it started. And I recall when you came to meet me the first time, mm-hmm. and you were explaining all these options I didn't know about.
So let me stop you there.
Yes.
So we're now, because we had a lengthy conversation on the phone.
Right.
Before I came down. And our conversation went all over the map. Yes. Which is what we do.
Right. We have to cover everything.
We have to cover everything. We have to talk about the house, and then we have to talk about everything else, and then we circle.
Circle back.
We circle back. We're going to circle back.
Cowgirls.
Right?
Right.
And then I landed at your dining room table, and we're talking about how we're going to sell it, what you're worried about. Right. So take me to the moment of us sitting at the table and having conversation.
Okay. Naturally, I'm concerned because I have not found or looked for another place to live. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know how in the world I would sell my home and have a home on the same day, a new place to move in. And that just seemed completely overwhelming. That's one aspect. But the other thing, too, I remember you said, are you sure? Are you ready to sign these forms? Do you need to think about it? And I went, no, absolutely not. Give them to me. Let's sign them. Let's go. Okay. That was really relieving. And you helped me understand that there was an option for me to live in the home for a little bit while I'm looking for another home, whether, to buy or rent. And I didn't know that was possible. And that helped a lot. And yes, go ahead.
So one of the things we talked about was your options, so that people understand what some of your options were, is that we could, put you in a long escrow, which, in this market with the rates and everything, you don't always want to do.
No.
So I said, well, what if we could get you time? We could close the escrow and you could remain in possession of the house.
Yes.
Which is what we wound up doing.
Yes. And it's honestly, I am eager to find a place and restart my living situation. Right. But at the same time, this has made it so much easier, because to do something as big as selling your home for so long, and then the very second you sell it, you got to go. I wasn't in
That's overwhelming, isn't it?
It is totally.
It's like because fast forward, but I want to hit on one thing that happened at the table, because I actually have another podcast about this particular incident that occurred at your dining room table.
Remind me. Yes.
And you, at one point, because as you say, selling your home is very emotional.
Yes.
And you got very emotional with me at the table. And we've known each other for not even 30 days.
Yes.
30 days, and you completely break down. Well, you don't completely
not
break
completely,
down.
but I do. It starts happening.
It
starts happening. Yeah.
But you start to cry.
Right.
And I look at you, and for a moment I'm thinking, holy cow, you just made somebody cry, you big meanie. That's what I'm
you
saying
felt.
on the inside. I'm thinking, she's crying. And then I look at you, and what do I say to you?
You said there's no crying in real estate. And then we started laughing.
There's no
crying in real estate.
Crying in real estate. Stop. There's no, you can't, because look, at a lot of things are going to happen. And I thought in that instant, I'm thinking, she's going to hate me or she's going to love me. But that's how I really feel.
Yes.
Because I need you to
get it together, get the jobs done.
Well,
be excited.
You can get it together, but when we're at that moment of we're going to sit down and we're going to sign contracts and we're going to work on a plan for the rest of your life, I need to pull you out of that emotion for a moment.
Yes.
And we did, and you laughed and we laughed, and so
it is huge. I've never done this before.
Yeah, right.
At my tender age, which I won't mention right now, I've never sold a home. This is the only home I've ever owned. So
now we've listed it. We're getting ready for our first open house. We've done the things around the house to make it look, because everyone stresses about, oh my gosh, I've got all these things.
The staging, the staging. Yeah. And that was fabulous, because you took charge. You made it look better. You told me a couple of things I needed to do.
Right.
And so that when the day finally came, I wasn't in a frenzy.
And we didn't hire, just so people know, we didn't hire professional stagers. No. I mean,
you brought some things to help that went with the kind of color scheme that goes here, or the lack thereof, and then and then some. We kind of worked together a little bit when I bring an object in, and my kids came to visit, and they were like, "Oh my God, the house looks fantastic."
And it was simple, but
it was, yes.
But in all honesty, so people understand, you have a very charming house. It's cute 1940s
fabulous.
Traditional with the double hung windows and the hardwood floors. So I mean, it starts out with basic charm, good, cute charm.
Yes,
bones.
It's in the bones.
And then we put a little tiny bit of color that matched your, because you're not afraid of color,
right?
Which I love, because
I've done all the white stuff, all the neutrals. I've been there.
I've been there.
When I moved out here, it's like I'm in California. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Light and color.
This is not the gray and white redo. This is I'm looking at the turquoise rug and the peach walls in the dining room, and the chandelier we excluded that have the turquoise little teardrops on it. So I mean, it's cool.
Yes.
So now we're on the market for all of 7 days?
Yes.
And we get multiple offers.
That was crazy. Wasn't it within the first 3 days, Robin, that we got 2 offers?
We did. We wound up getting 3.
3.
But I said we have to wait.
Right.
Because we want to see, is there anyone else? And are these people really committed?
Are they going to? Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So when you got those offers, how did you feel?
Crazy.
Crazy?
Well, it's like, one thing was just, I've not done this ever. And so it's like, okay, I'm selling my house. I knew that people would want it, but I didn't expect it to happen so quickly. I didn't expect people were ready to put their name down on paper and buy the home. And, honestly, there's a little part of me that is, my animal self that's sort of like, this is my house.
But
it was
talk about that, because a lot of people don't want to do the open house.
Right.
And we really did. We did everything that was kind of common. We did the sign, we did the lockbox, we did the open house.
You did videos for the what do you call it? For the Facebook and Instagram.
We did. I mean, everything that I wanted you to cooperate in, as far as, hey, do this Facebook post, do this. You were like, I'm in.
Yes.
Whatever you want me to do. And we didn't do a video in the house. We did a video about your community.
Right.
And focused on what's outside, because that's such a key element of this.
Absolutely.
House.
People who don't know this neighborhood don't understand.
Yeah.
But once you're in it, you don't want to leave it, because it is so special, and the access to everything. Downtown, all the shops on Honolulu. It's a dream place.
Yeah, it is. And everybody, and this little pocket called Spar Heights is just, it's off the charts.
Yes.
How people just, and families have their family members move in.
Yes. Generations of families, some of them still living in the same house or the house around the corner.
So let's talk about the open house.
Yes.
And I call you after the open house to let you know that, I mean, I basically was a traffic director. There were so many people in this house.
Yeah.
But let's talk about your...
my pull down... what is that called?
What is that?
What would you call it? It's like a chart. It's an educational chart from the 30s or something like that. A grade school pull down chart.
But it's super cool because it's got these bright colors, and it's just, it's an interesting piece. But you say to me, right before the
open house, yes,
I'm going to put this up because I don't want anyone touching it, because it's really fragile.
Yes.
Can't say that word, but it's fragile.
Yes.
I'll talk slower. And what happens? I text you frantically from the open house.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Robin, you told me that, well, I'd rolled it up. So this probably 8-9 foot wall hanging. It was all rolled up except for just the pool ring. And you texted me that another realtor. Oddly enough, a realtor, not a viewer, not a buyer.
Right, exactly.
Right, had the audacity to walk into the dining room, look at the wall, look at that little pull ring, and go, "Oh, what's this?" and start to pull it down. I think that's what.
Yeah, exactly. And I was leaping across the room, yelling at him in front of probably 5 or 6 sets of clients, including his own, saying, "Don't touch that.
Yes,
don't touch it. Stop it." And I'm freaking out because I don't know how to get it back. And now I'm standing guard for the rest of the open house.
Because somebody else might want.
And what makes me crazy is it's bad enough that, all kinds of crazy things happen at open houses.
Mm-hmm.
And the way, and even during showings, and that'll be a whole other episode. But the fact that an agent would go and touch something
that was obviously not to be touched.
That was clearly not to be touched. I was like,
thank goodness you caught him and nothing happened to it.
Thank goodness he has both his limbs, and I didn't.
There we go. Right. Well, one of your episodes, or perhaps one of your books, and you'll go on a book tour.
One of my books. I'm going to go on a book tour.
Real estate etiquette.
Real estate etiquette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
If we could only train the agents first, and
then
we
we'll
could
do that. We'll work on that.
No.
But yes, also I'd laid out a bowl of oranges and to go with the colors and everything.
Yeah, and the little bowl of oranges we had on your dining room table, which
and your lunch.
That's cute. and then the neighbor came over and gave me snacks. She said, I know it's going to be a busy day. Here's some snacks. And so I just sat them in the bowl, which I thought was super sweet of them. That's what this neighborhood is.
Very.
And I turned for a second, and one of the open house visitors is taking your oranges, and the kid's eating my snack.
Yeah. In the house. Yeah. First of all, to take it and walking through the house with sticky
and I was
fingers.
Like, okay.
All right.
And honestly, I wasn't starving, but I was just like,
but
wow.
Still, right. Wow. Assumptions and
so
lack of...
I moved your oranges, and then I starved for the rest of the day. No, I'm kidding. I'm teasing. So we get through that.
Right.
And now we've got offers after the open house. Like 3 days after the open house, the offers start to roll in. And we make a decision that we're not going to do another open house because we're just not going to do the circus again.
Yes.
It's too crazy.
Yes.
And we've got 3 really good offers.
Right.
So once we negotiated these offers and you're making decisions because you had wound up with two really amazing deals.
Yes.
How hard was it for you to choose?
It was hard. The couple I met who lived nearby and had been trying to get into this neighborhood, not the couple who got the house.
Right.
But they were actually here in person, and they were crazy about the house and had been hoping to get into Spar Heights for like 3 years. And they felt like we need to get a house before we have kids, and we want to have kids. And they were just gaga over everything. Mm-hmm. And their enthusiasm, carried back to me. I want someone, if you don't love it, then you need to find another place, right? Go ahead.
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
People find it strange that the seller wants the person to love their house. Tell me more about that.
Well, this may be a little too much, but I feel like any land that you live on is precious and it's treasured, and there's a history underneath our feet. And this neighborhood is in a Native American area that was considered a healing area in this big metroplex. They didn't call it that then. But and I feel that from this home and from living here and just being here all this time, and I didn't feel like I wanted it to go to someone who had a deeper feeling for it than just, oh, this is a home.
Or they were going to knock on the walls.
Or they were going to change the character. Right.
Yeah, and it's
right. And that I didn't want to happen. Not that I understand if someone remodels, of course,
right.
But if you change it to something, it's just not what happens here. It's not so. It's supposed to be.
And when it happens here, people are not happy.
No, people do not like most of the renovations.
Don't take the traditional and turn it into a stucco palace kind of thing. That's for another neighborhood.
It's what it is.
But the buyer that did get the house used to live in this neighborhood,
right? Which, when I heard about them and I heard about their story, I was drawn to them. They'd been away from their neighborhood for 7 or 8 years, maybe, give or take,
I think so.
And had been trying for some time to get back in. And they were not present to go through the open house. They had a realtor here who did everything for them, and tons of videos, questions, etc. And
so basically, the person that owns the house now has never physically been in the house,
right?
That's how much that says a lot about, that's how much they trusted their real estate agent. And so kudos to him.
Yes.
I mean, let's give credit where credit is due.
Absolutely.
He did a great job on their behalf.
Yes.
And we actually took the offer. Their offer was a little bit lower than the other offer.
But
because they were all cash.
Right.
But we had a hiccup. Because everybody thinks all cash is just, it's easy peasy. They had an appraisal contingency. I don't want to go into too much details about it, but they had an appraisal contingency because of how they were buying this house all cash. And it was a $50,000. It wasn't like it was a 5 or 10. It was $50,000. It was a lot of money.
Substantial, yes.
And our backup, the lovely family that wants into the neighborhood, was for a higher price. So we had to have this conversation about the pros and cons. What could we do?
Yes.
And how were we going to make this decision? And you got all tough girl on me. And you were like, I'm not dropping my price. They can either figure it out or they can get out. So so I gave them a notice to perform and said, you either remove that and close your escrow in 6 days, or we're going to go risk our chances with the buyer that has financing and risking and rolling the dice that an appraiser can get that value up.
Yes. And I think they were $10,000 over.
They were $10,000 more. Yeah. Yeah. So your tough girl act worked. And
I felt that way. I mean, it was feeling like it is in this day, it's worth it. It's a wild amount of money for someone like me, but it's like, if that's this neighborhood and that's the charm and that's the atmosphere that you're not going to just find anywhere.
Well, and the thing that buyers realize when you get to a position with your client that you're trying to say, push here, but don't push here. And you're trying to guide them on what's in their best interest. After you've showed them, here's the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yes.
We knew that the odds of another house in this price point, in this neighborhood, coming on the market was not going to happen probably for another 4 or 5 months. Because we've now been 30 days in.
Yes.
There's one house that's come on, but it's bigger. And it's
much more expensive.
$250,000 more than where we were. And there's no sight or any signs that
no one's leaving.
No one's leaving.
No one wants to leave because it's too perfect.
So now we're closed. And the moment I called you and said we're closed, what was that like?
Another huge relief.
Yeah.
And a relief, a little bit of fear just about what comes next, right? But one of the good things about this process with you, I'm someone who wants to know everything all at once, but you have not told me everything all at once. And it's good because I feel overwhelmed on any given day. That would have overwhelmed me more. I felt excitement. I felt relief. Like I said, a little bit sad, a little bit of fear, but also I think mainly just relieved that it happened and it happened quickly and everybody's happy. There's no extra strings, dangling here or there. The other thing I want to backtrack just a second that I really, really appreciated was you scheduling all the inspections. There were at least 4 different humans who had to come here and look at the place.
Yeah, that day he had everybody.
Everybody came the same morning, afternoon. So it was maybe 4 hours of folks being here.
Right.
As opposed to someone every other day at different times a day.
Yes.
That was perfect.
So what the ultimate goal was to simplify it for you.
Yes. Yes.
So on a scale of 1 to 10 on simplification of you never selling a house.
This goes to 11. No, I mean it. And it's, we've had a bunch of laughs. My serotonin level's up.
We do.
What can I say?
A good time.
We have some laughs.
We have a very good time.
Right.
I think that makes it easier.
And you've been in the business long enough.
I am a dinosaur in this business.
No, you're not a dinosaur. Sure. You're like the queen.
I'm the queen.
You're the queen.
And I got the wave down.
Right. And I knew that too. I knew that you knew and loved this area. So that is also a plus. I don't have to, you're not a stranger that I'm bringing in to help sell my home who's like looking around, oh, this is kind of a cool place. No, you know it. You know it. And I think you understand without my crying.
There's no crying.
No, there's no crying.
There's no more crying.
The challenge of it and the challenge of being a senior and starting a new life, not completely new, but letting go and starting anew and helping me, be excited about that, keeping me informed of anything that comes up. And we're shopping.
So now we're going shopping today.
We're shopping.
We're not shopping to buy. We're going to pick stop rent because we think that's the best process. Right. So after looking at all the different things, so we're going to go look at a house that looks like your house.
Yes.
I don't think it's going to be your house, but we're going to look at it anyway.
You know what?
Just to be honest with you.
I do not expect my home.
But I do think the one on the hill is probably going to be your house because I think it's going to work for you and I think it's going to work for your son. So that's in my brain.
Yes.
I've got it all figured out for you. Like I had before. That's my job.
Yes. Thank you, Robin.
You're very welcome. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
We're all done.
We're done.
Until the next time. Susan's Adventures.
There we go. Thank you so much. Whatever you like. Right? And then I find a place. You can never interview me again. Then we'll start charging it. You'll be up here.
People are going to go, oh my God, she's talking about
that person again. Oh my God. Does she know what she sounds like on a recording? Isn't it funny?
We have to go. We're going to be late.